Father Schmitt was born in Boston. He matriculated at St. Genevieve School and DePaul Academy in Chicago. Then he went to St. Joseph's College in Rensselaer, Indiana, where he graduated with a double major in English and speech. He went to Northwestern University for postgraduate studies in communication. He taught English at DePaul Academy, and he taught and coached football at Driscoll Catholic High School in Addison, Illinois. After Driscoll, he had a career with Universal Studios in Hollywood. Then he was an independent film producer. He gave that up to enter St. Mary of the Lake Mundelein Seminary. After he had been ordained, he was associate pastor at St. James in Arlington Heights, and he became a pastor at St. Monica Parish and St. John the Evangelist Parish. He was also at St. Pat's in Chicago and Nazareth Academy. He died on December 6th, and he's this year's Father Smith Award. Father Smith was an All-American basketball player at the University of Notre Dame. Then he was a first-round draft choice for the St. Louis Hawks in the National Basketball Association. He played for the Hawks for 1 year and for the Harlem Globetrotters. Then he gave that up to become a priest. So the Father Smith Award is for someone who was successful in sports and gave that up for the religious life. Father Smith is here, and would you please greet him?
I want to thank Pat for organizing this luncheon, and all the McCaskies. Miss McCaskey's here in the congregation. Give her a great hand, please. They have a fantastic family, but the one who has the brains, the one who has the leadership, the one who has the insight is Virginia McCaskey. Give her another hand, please. Pat, thank you for introducing me as an All-American basketball player from Notre Dame, which I was, but I'm 81 years old now. And if you ever have a record and you're holding to it, you sort of begin to cherish it. And I cherish this one record I have. It'll never be broken. I did it in 4 years. Now they play in 3 years in basketball. But it's unbelievable. And I do want to thank the people who talked today, because I tried to put the little talent I have in the sight of God. But I don't know if God would bless my record. I have the most personal fouls ever committed by a Notre Dame ball player. I could, honestly, if you stood in front of me and I was in the basketball court, no matter any part of your body, my elbow could hit. And I practiced it. And I look back down, thank you, you're trying to put all our work of our sports, and I believe the work in the sports is directed by God, except my record. I don't know if he'd like that, but I live with it. And there was I'll just give you one real brief case where we won the Sugar Bowl tournament down in 56, and we were going to go back there in 57. However, the conditions of the blacks and whites, we had Tommy Hawkins, who was the best ball player on the team. They wouldn't let him sit in our hotel. Then I said, well, we'll stay in his. He said, oh, no, you can't do that. That's against the law. They'll arrest you. Well, I said, well, you can take this tournament and just stick it, where. We left, and then we joined the New York club, and it was my job. I said, oh, my God, I'm in trouble. Tommy Heinzel, I don't know if you remember that name. He played for the Boston Celtics for about 10 years as a pro. He's about 6'7", 6'8", fast as the wind, could shoot the ball like an eagle. And I says, I'm in trouble. Then I thought of it. And here's where the inspiration of the Holy Spirit came in. He was there, and he started up, and Tommy was there, and he got the ball, and he was going to drive right around me. And look what the Holy Spirit gave me. A beautiful elbow right in his chin. I looked at him as he laid on the floor, and the referee came and said, "Did you do that on purpose?" I said, "I didn't do anything on purpose. It was a mistake." He said, "It better be." So he was carried off and went into the locker room for the first quarter. Yeah, I said, "Okay, well, we'll win the game. We're winning in the first quarter." Second quarter, he didn't show up again. We won in the second quarter. Third quarter, he didn't come out. I said, "We're going to win this tournament." And in the fourth quarter came, no Tommy Heinsohn. I looked at the Holy Spirit and said, "Thank you very much for giving me all this beauty." And I left that tournament, and everybody thought I was a great defensive ball player. And all I said, all you have to have is a sharp elbow. So I thanked our Lord for that, and that's what I've been thanking him for, my sharp elbow.
Good afternoon. I'll try and make this brief. I'm Bob Carney. This is my brother Jim Carney, and we are Ted's cousins. We were asked to be here because we wanted to accept for him posthumously, and it is a pleasure to be here. I don't have a lot to say about Ted because your biography in the program probably covered everything. It was a pretty incredible career, both secularly and spiritually. So I just want to say that this induction of Father Ted into the Sports Faith Hall of Fame represents something that he dedicated a lot of his life and a good part of his priesthood to, sports ministry. Now, sports ministry, it can't be too complicated. As he once said, and I'm quoting him, "I want to use athletics as an evangelical tool. Athletics done right can be a wonderful way to grow closer to Jesus Christ, the Lord." And if you did know Ted, you knew that he was sincere about that. He had a tremendous amount of energy which he brought to his life, to his spiritual life, and to athletics. Thank you very much.
Hello, I'm Dr. Tom Nelson. I'm one of the coaches at Nazareth Academy, and I want to say a few words on Father Ted's behalf. But before I talk about his influence at Nazareth, I want to share a story. In his junior year at St. Joe's, Rensselaer, he had the opportunity of meeting the great Chicago Bears legendary coach, George Halas. At that time, the Bears summer camp was actually held at St. Joe's of Rensselaer. And they were due to play the College All-Stars in a preseason contest. And Father Ted, as the class president, got the honor of showing Mr. Halas around campus. It was a big day for Ted because his father, who was a Chicago police officer, was coming up for a rare visit to visit him and tag along while he gave the tour. Ted thought it would be fun to show off for his friends by introducing his father to Coach Halas. Halas politely said, "I already know your father, son." Imagine the look on Ted's face. He went on, "I tried to recruit him to play for the Bears. He was a hell of a football player at Marquette University. After the service, I asked him to try out for the team, but he declined." Father Ted stood there stunned with a bright red face, while his dad stood a few feet away looking at the ground, not saying a word. It was this example of humility that lasted a lifetime for Father Ted. When he got to Nazareth in 2010, he had already been doing sports ministry with Dan Galante over at St. Pat's. We were blessed to have him, and at that time, we had recently started a faith-based leadership program called Sports Leaders. Father Ted helped us take this program to a new level. Not only did he have a positive effect in our football program, but he affected the entire school, from the president on down. At the beginning of the school year, we routinely started with a mass for the coaches and teachers where Father Ted would stress the importance of our privileged roles and how to bring our faith onto the sports field. Our pregame masses were really Father Ted was basically a rock star. He connected at a level with the players and coaches because of his vast experience with leaders and coaches and everybody else in sports that he was familiar with. He also stressed the importance of sacraments, and I saw a slide of him doing the confessions on our practice field last summer. He admitted to me afterwards that he got so much joy from this because about half the players that went to confession had been to confession within the previous 3 to 4 months. He knew he was getting his message across. He challenged us to develop a special relationship with Jesus Christ, realizing that this could be a game changer for us. He brought a new tradition to Nazareth Academy. When we competed against St. Pat's, instead of shaking hands in file down the middle of the field, he brought us together and we'd pray. And Father Ted would share light on the fact that there's more to sports, and he'd share real personal experiences with us. Last Thanksgiving weekend, a week before Father Ted passed away, Nazareth Academy won a state championship, the first one in school history. I know in speaking on behalf of Nazareth Academy, who could not be here today because of a graduation, Father Ted had a major influence on this achievement. And for this, we'll be forever grateful. Thank you very much.